Sorry for the delay, technical problem. After 14 years, it has to happen once, and it happened today. And the topic tonight, we're talking about the secret of life. There's a lot of secrets in life, but we're talking the biggest secret in life, it's life itself. What are we doing here? That's what everybody wants to know. And in order for us to cover such a complicated issue, we got to start from the foundation. And the foundation, this is the condition. The condition is as follows. If, as I said in the last few lectures that I've been here, if there is a God, the creator of the world, who gave us the Torah, as we all know, then we can understand perhaps the purpose of life. If we have doubts in the Torah, we're not sure that the Torah is the word of God, there's no way for us ever to know the purpose of life. So now, this is, I guess, what I mean. It's like this. People in this world, we have today 6.4 billion people. 6.4. There's 80,000 religions and cults. Everybody searching for the truth, people worshipping idols, people have all kinds of faiths and beliefs. And obviously everybody claims that he has the truth. But we as Jews, we know one very important fact. That first, we are the first religion from the 80,000 religions and cults. We were here 3,318 years ago. We received the Torah in front of millions of people. Christianity started a little bit less than 2,000 years ago. Islam is less than 1,400 years ago. Buddhism is 2,400 years old. So everybody, no matter how big they are way after Judaism was already published all over the world. As a matter of fact, in the generation that the Torah was given in front of approximately 15 million Jews, 70 languages the Torah was translated to. There was already 70 different Torahs in different languages in that time, 3,318 years ago. The Torah in Hebrew means instruction, ora'ah. Torah, ora'ah, which shows the way. Not only that, many of the nations learned a lot of the things that the Jews received in Mount Sinai and adapted that into their beliefs. Some of the things that Christianity has, obviously, comes from our tradition, from our Torah. A lot of the things that the Muslims use comes from the Torah. They don't eat pork, they believe in one God. Many things that the Muslims use, they took from our Torah. But this is the point here. If there is no way to prove that the Torah is divine, then it's going to be very foolish to listen to this book. Very foolish. To become religious, to observe the Sabbath, to put tefillin, to observe all these laws that some of them are very difficult to keep, to watch what you eat, what you don't eat, it will be very foolish. Because according to our belief, without the Torah, put the Torah aside, we live here 60, 70, 80 years here in this world, we're thinking that the place here to enjoy, we have to get financial status, we have to be successful financially, we have to be healthy. Each one of us has different terms for success, but this is what we search. So we have to be successful according to our understanding. But if the Torah is correct, that means it is the word of the Creator, the Torah, then everything we are going to do against this book, it's against us. For a very simple fact. Nobody knows better for us what's good for us than our Creator. It's very simple. According to the Torah, there is one God, there was never another one, not before, not after, and there will never be another one. There was never a son of God. There's no gods like the Greeks believe. There's only one. It's one of the 10 Commandments. You should not have any other God but me. I am the God that took you out of Egypt. You should not have any other one. The first 2 commandments, focusing on that fact, there's only one. In some other places in the Torah it says you should know today and push it and return it into your heart. The Torah used the word return because it's going to come out all the time, constantly. Return it into your heart that I'm your God. Before me there was no one, and after me there'll never be. And it repeats in tens of different places in the Torah and in the Tanakh, hundreds of places. It repeats this concept. Don't ever think I have a partner. I don't need any other. It's very simple, because once there's two gods, you have a very serious problem. What happens if they ever decide to have a fight? What happens if one would decide to give us money and the other one would want to starve us? One would want to do this, the other one has his own opinion. Once there is two, each one of them becomes limited. You understand why? If there is two superpowers, which they omnipotent, well, I never learned this word, omnipotent, then each one can affect the other. Then the other one become not perfect. It's very simple. So it has to be one. All the indications and the proofs link clearly there's only one. Now, why it's very important to recognize him and to listen to his book? Because he knows better for us what's good for us. We think that money will make us happy, or if we'll be healthy, we'll be happy, or if we get married, or some people decided not to get married, some people decided to marry to a woman, some people decided to marry to a man. Everybody has his own opinions today. I mean, everybody comes up with new theory. Hitler decided that Jews in this world is danger for the world, or blacks is not good for the world. Everybody has his own truth. If we're gonna ask every human being, what's your perfect truth for this life? Write down for me, please, an article. What is the ideal life in this planet? You're gonna have 6.4 billion opinions at least. Who are we going to follow? There's a lot of bright people out there. Not only Jews. The Gemara says, Chochma b'goyim ta'amin. There are brilliant non-Jews, brilliant Gentiles. Some of them, like Aristo, Galileo Galilei, you have plenty. They were very famous. They were genius in their territory. But are we going to listen to him or to her? To who? Our people can decide what's the truth of life. There is a creator and there is a creation. Is the creation can decide what's the truth of this creation, this whole world? Obviously not. Now I'm going to say one verse from this book, which is going to give us an idea where is the right direction. The Torah says, "V'asita hayashar v'atov be'enei Hashem." You have to do the right and the decent in the eyes of your God. Now, every one of us wants to do what's good and decent according to our understanding. The problem is that my understanding about life was designed by my teachers, my parents, my neighbors, my friends, sometimes the children, everywhere, the media. Media has a lot to do with our life. And most of the people are very confused. None of them really know where am I heading to. If you ask a person in the street, what are your goals in life? What's going to make you a success? Most of them will say money. So a lot of people would say health. People say success in a marriage, having good children. More or less 5 or 6 things, everybody will say the same things. And the rest is whatever their hobbies. That's what's going to be. Who's to say that to be healthy is good? Who's to say that to get married is good? Who's to say that to even live is good? How do we know it's good? That's I guess what I'm asking. Who can raise his hand and tell me if he's sure 100% that the things he chose in his life was a good thing for him? I give you an example of what I mean. Today you grow up, your parents sending you to college, they pay the bills, you go, you learn 6, 7, 8 years, whatever. They pay tens of thousands of dollars. It's not easy. Until you finally become, let's say, a doctor or a lawyer, I don't know, or an architect, whatever. First, who's to say you'll be successful in what you're going to learn? You may be not such a great lawyer, and after a year or two, nobody would want you, and you're going to end up opening a little grocery or something. Or maybe you'll be a businessman. I don't know. There's any guarantee that these 7 or 8 years will give you something in life? there's a big risk. Statistics shows, I don't know in America, but in Israel, that most people that go to colleges to learn something, they ended up doing something else completely. In Israel, I don't know about here, I didn't check the statistic, but I believe that here it's going to be worse. You know? So the point is, who's guaranteeing us that this is the right way? A lot of people are seeking for money, 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 and yet when they got the money, most of them did not become happy. They didn't reach happiness. They have convenience maybe. They have less stress about paying the bills. Yes, it's helping in a way. But to be happy, they asked Bill Gates in Israel a year ago, you are the right person to ask, does money bring happiness? He said, absolutely not. That's what he said. And he's saying, that's why I'm going to leave my children only $10 million, and the rest I give everything to donations. $10 million from what he has, it's not even 1% of 1%, you understand? And he's going to give everything to strangers in Africa, in Europe, I don't know where. People he doesn't even know. To do good for people that cannot achieve certain things. That's his truth. Accidentally, his truth comply with God's truth. Accidentally. I don't know if he did it because he's religious or his religious beliefs. It happened to help him, what he chose. But what happened if he would donate his $50 billion to the KKK that want to exterminate people, like to kill Jews, to kill blacks, to kill all kinds of people? And that case would be also a good thing to do. It's very confusing. Everybody has a different truth. Comes God and say, forget about your truth. Forget about your beliefs. You cannot understand the secret of life. Only I know the secret of life because I created it. Therefore, if you follow your understanding, for sure you're going to fail. For sure. If you're listening to my orders, whether you understand them while you do them, or whether you understand them later, or perhaps you will not understand it at all in this life, you have nothing to lose. All you have to do is just believe in me 100%. Nobody ever lost by me. Temporarily, it may look that there's no result. For instance, you keep all the laws and you're a very sick person. You keep all the laws, you're a very poor person. You keep all the laws, your marriage did not succeed. You don't have children. It could be hundreds of things. Does that mean that the laws are wrong? Maybe your way is not the right way? The answer is no. Because God already told us the answer to all these questions. So I would like to start with some of the things from Sefer Dvarim. Sefer Dvarim is the 5th book from the Torah. Has 5 books. Bereshit, Shmot, Vayikra, Bamidbar, Dvarim. Whenever I would like to recommend to a Jew to start reading in the Torah, I would first tell him to read the creation of the world in Genesis, and then after 10-20 minutes that he's finishing there, I would transfer him directly to the end, which is the 5th book, Sefer Dvarim, which is a conclusion of all the orders that God gave us and Moshe gave it to us before he passed away. I would like to clarify one thing. A lot of people think that when we came out of Egypt, 49 days we received the Torah. That's true, but we did not receive the written Torah yet. Not yet. What is it like? Moshe went up to the mountain 7 weeks after the exodus of Egypt. When he came down, he saw that they made a golden calf. That was after 40 days. He broke the 10 commandments, the first one. Then he went up the next day again. And all the periods of times that he was in the mountain was 3 times 40, which is similar to his life. His life was also 120 years. So altogether 120 days. This whole thing was finished on Yom Kippur, the 10th day of Tishrei. When he came down, it was Yom Kippur. That's why it's a day of forgiveness. And God told him, I forgive as you requested. And therefore this day will be a day of forgiveness, of repentance for the entire Jews throughout all the generations that are coming. And right after he came down, the Torah said the next day he sat in a court and he was a judge to all the Jews that had problems, arguments, law cases, and all that. That's the way the Torah describes it. So when exactly he wrote the written Torah that we have here? The answer is, moments before he died, he gave for the first time an original copy of the written Torah to each one of the tribes. There were 12 different families, 12 different tribes. Each one received a copy, and there was a 13th copy which he put inside the ark as the original one to compare with this, in case they make a mistake when they copy the Torah. They have an original one always to compare with, that they don't make mistakes. Now you may ask, something is wrong here. If they only received it in the end, what did they do in this 40 years? They kept the Sabbath, they put tefillin, they did circumcision, they did all kinds of things. How did they know the laws? The answer is very, very simple. Much more simple than what it sounds. I'll give you an example. Let's say I decided to be a brain surgeon, but I don't want to sit 7 years in college and waste my time. So I have an uncle that is a very, very special brain surgeon. And I ask him a favor, if I can come every day to stand next to him in a surgery room to copy what he does, to learn, to see. He said, I don't mind, you can stand next to me. I stood by him for a few months. From morning to evening, I saw all the operations that he had. I asked him a lot of questions, he answered me, I made comments, I filmed, I did whatever I did. I was very serious about my learning. After 6 months, I already saw all the possibilities. It's repeat itself. It's the same thing all the time. I asked him if I can participate in a surgery. So he shut down the camera over there, he locked the door, and he let me help him instead of the nurses there. One surgery, second, third. A month I've been doing it with him every day. Then he told me, you know what? I can leave you here. I want to go smoke a cigarette. I have a phone call to make. You can do it just as good as me. And I did it. And we've been doing it for months. And then somebody found out and told me, no, you cannot be a doctor here. You need a diploma. So I said, well, so what? So go to college. I'm sorry. There's no doctors that can become a surgeon before he has a degree or diploma or something. So now I went to college. And I have to learn everything that I already know better than the professor over there. He knows what he knows from the books, whatever. Maybe he was himself a surgeon, but I already know better than him. But I have to sit there because I'm only sitting there to get the diploma. This is exactly how it happened to the Jews. Moshe came down from the mountain with all the oral laws, everything. Soon you understand why I'm talking about this, because it's a little bit different than the topic that we're going to speak, but it's important to know that fact. He came with all the oral laws. He came down, there was a circumcision to a baby that is 8 days old. He gathered all the older people, he said, come see how God showed me in the mountain how to do a circumcision. He brought the tools, he made the tools, and he did everything, and he taught them from A to Z. All of them learned how to do it. Then tomorrow there was another few ones. And the next day, and the next day, for weeks. They all saw how he's doing it, and everybody learned and taught his student, and hundreds and then thousands of people were able to do it. One learned from the other. So now there's many Moalim, expert in circumcision. Then the laws of Shabbat, he taught all the older people the laws of Shabbat, they taught their student, and that's how it spread to the entire nation. Everyone who did not know what to do, copied the people around him. They're all in one huge camp in the desert. You don't know if you're allowed to do this on Shabbat or not. You look at your neighbor, or you ask someone, and that's how everybody knows. That's how it's been going for 40 years. Everything he was teaching them orally. Then he gave them the written Torah. The written Torah have extra history in it. First, it described the creation of the world. Second, it described a period of history from the time of Egypt, from the time of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So no, it's going back to the time of Adam. It described thousands of years of history, plus the 40 years in the desert, plus many things that are going to happen after they're going to enter the land. From this part, this is where the proof comes in. When they received the Torah, they looked inside the Torah and they saw 100 or more than 100 miracles that each one of them is against all odds, against logic. It's impossible to even believe in such a thing. Blood, frogs, every Egyptian died, firstborn, the ocean split, so many things that nobody would, when people hear about it today, sometimes they even laugh. But how do you know it for sure happened? It's important to know if it happened or not. It's very important, because if one of the things in the Torah it's not correct, we are the most miserable people on earth. Why? We will never have a truth. Our life will never have a value, a meaning, nothing. Because it's like a creation that made for no purpose, with no instructions. For sure we were created. We see the creation, we know there is a brilliant creator. We look at all the animals, we see the oxygen, the water, so many brilliant things around us, everything we need we have. Everything is planned, the fingers, the eyes, the brain. Just the brain alone is more than all the telecommunications in the world together. All of them together will not be equal to one brain. The stomach, just the stomach of a person, every minute creates 500,000 new cells. If you will make a mistake, there's a defect, it will make only 499,999. After a few years, what's going to happen? Ulcer. Ulcer. You cannot eat spicy, you cannot eat too salty, and all kinds of problems. Why is it? When you eat a steak, it's meat. But your stomach is made from the same ingredients, from the same material. It's the same thing. Meat falls on meat. That's what it is. Who told the acid juice inside the stomach to break the steak into little pieces and not itself? So the answer is, of course, the stomach eats itself. But in order for us not to die after an hour from the creation, the Creator made us a system that the stomach will renew itself every few hours. Which means the stomach that you have today, it's not the stomach you had yesterday. The stomach you're going to have tomorrow, it's going to be new cells. Always new cells. Why? Because the acid eats itself all the time. Everything you eat, it eats with it, and the stomach itself, and it's recreating itself non-stop. 6.4 billion people, all the generations from the creation of the world until today, almost no one had problems with that. It's always, this is one out of trillions of miracles that happen to each one of us every day of our life, multiplied by so many things and species. To say something like this is coincidence? Of course not. So we understand there is a creator. If there is a creator, for sure there is a purpose for the creation. For sure, nobody ever makes such a brilliant creation for no purpose. There must be a purpose. If there is a purpose, as an intelligent human being, I must do everything I can to find that purpose. I cannot sit. I cannot waste time. I must find the purpose of my life right away. If I didn't find, I cannot give up. Because every day I live in my life not knowing the purpose of my creation, it's a big loss. Why? Because when I'm going to find my purpose of the creation, it may be too late for me. What do I mean? I'll give you an example. Just one example from life. People sometimes never recognize the Torah until age 60, 50, 60, 70. They didn't know. They didn't believe in God. They had doubts. I mean, in my opinion, everybody believes in God. I don't believe there's one person in this world that don't understand there is a creator for the world. You may call him in a different way, but for sure everybody understands there is a creator. But he didn't know anything about the Torah. Okay, there is a creator. But he didn't know that the Torah is the word of that creator. It's a big thing. So by the time he found out, accidentally he came to a lecture or he saw a DVD, or he went into a website and he saw something that attracted his attention, he may be by then 60 years old. Now what's the problem? He married an Irish woman. Very nice woman, sweet woman, good heart, wonderful human being, even wealthy, comes from an important family. She was very good to him all his life. They married when he was 25, now they both 60, they have children and they have grandchildren. So far everything looks like a wonderful success story. They work, both of them are educated, they work in very good jobs, great life. Then he finds out, by opening the book, that every moment of his life was a mistake. Why? Because accidentally, he belongs to that family of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Accidentally, he is their descendants. And he opens up the book and he sees that the creator of the world told the descendants of this family, they must be separate from the entire world, from all the Gentiles. They cannot intermarry, they cannot do a lot of things with other nations. They must be the children of this creator. They must be. Not because they're not good people, not because they're not smart. We're not even looking for reason right now. That's an order from the creator of the world. Now, if the book is false, I got saved. We're back to square one. Great success, this life. If the book is right, I messed my life. I lost all my life. Why I lost? Sometimes there's ways to correct. Sometimes it's 2 ways to correct. By the time you found out, it's too late. Why? You have 4 children. You have emotions for them. You brought them to the world. You open up the Torah, you see that the Torah says that if your children come from a non-Jewish woman, they're not your children. In the world to come, you go to a different section, they go to a different section. You have nothing to do with that. That's the creator of life made rules. Don't ask me why, that's another lecture. If you want, watch my lecture in a website, Intermarriage. 2.5 hours, you have the answers to all your questions. It's in English. DivineInformation.com. I have non-Jews, non-stop, emailing me and calling me. They want to convert after they saw this lecture. Intermarriage. You may think they get very upset, but there's a lot of non-Jews out there that believe in God, and they know the Jews are the chosen people. And now when they see, they started to understand what God told the Jews as opposed to the rest of the world, they want to become a part of that family. They're willing to do everything is necessary. And my job is to convince them not to convert. I've been finding myself in the last month convincing many non-Jews, most of them from Hispanic background, to stay where they are and just keep the 7 laws that the creator of the world ordered them. In order for that, they have a part of the world to come. I told them it doesn't pay. Believe me, I send them emails, and the opposite, they're continuing to argue. They want to convert. This is what we're facing here. Why? The truth is the truth. Sometimes you may find on yourself that you're a second-class citizen. So first, your pride is waking up. What? This book saying that I'm a second-class citizen? I cannot stand this book. I cannot even think about being faithful to this God. He's going to say that I'm not good as him? I'm not going to accept it. But later, when you think about what you just read, who are you to decide what's good? Again, we're coming back to the same thing. The creator of life decided who is the top, who is above, below him, and who is below. For instance, among the Jews, male, Kohen, someone that is coming from the family of Aaron and Moshe, a Kohen, is the highest level. I'm not a Kohen. Is that a reason for me to be depressed or upset or jealous that my neighbor or my friend is a Kohen and I'm not? And the Torah said that I got to give him extra respect and he always comes first and he has a lot of rules that apply to him and does not apply to me and it makes me upset? Why should I? This is the way God decided. Or between male and female. Or between Jews and non-Jews. Or between the Gentiles, there's also different levels. Why? That's another lecture. It's not the time now to explain all these things. But there is a book. We're coming back always to the same thing. All we have to do is to find that this book is not correct. It's not the Word of God. If you're ever able to prove that this book is not the Word of God, everything I say, put it in the toilet. All the website of the religion, all the Torah, the books, the Gemara, put in the toilet. It's all nonsense. If you find one mistake, I have news for you. 3,318 years ago, millions of people were learning in it, criticizing it, trying to prove that it's not divine. And until this moment, all 3 religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, knows for sure that God gave the Torah to the Jews in front of millions of witnesses. How do we know? Very simple. When we receive a book with 100 miracles, and in the book it says that we, the Jews, that accepting it live now, heard the voice of God. all we have to do is to raise our hand and say, excuse me, sir, we never heard God speaking to you from the fire. We never heard. It says here in the book that we all heard. And I'm telling you, we never heard. We never heard God. Why it never happened? Because they all heard God. Why are they willing to do such weird laws? All the laws of the Torah, almost all of them, are not acceptable in the mind of a human being. They are not logical. Nobody ever was able to explain them. It's very, very interesting. I'll give you an example. One example. There is a mitzvah called red cow. You heard about that? A red cow. Until today, there was 9 red cows in history. The tradition told us that we're going to have altogether 10. So we're expecting the last one, the 10th one. So 9 we already had. What does it mean, red cow? A cow that is born all red. No black hairs, no brown hairs, nothing. All red hair. So what do we need a red cow? To put it in a museum? No. The Torah told us a secret. The Kohen that goes to serve inside the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, sometimes he's pure, sometimes he's not pure. Purity and impurity, it's something against human logic. If you sit on this chair, you became impure. If you sit on that chair, no problem. If a woman in a state of impurity sat on that chair, and I came and sat right after her, I got her impurity. It came to me. Do I see it different? Do I think different? Do I taste my food different? No different whatsoever. Can someone look at me and say if I'm pure or not? No. Very complicated life in the old days, in the time of the temple. If a Kohen went into this room, and God forbid there was a dead body in a corner over there, someone just got a heart attack and died, and the Kohen walked in, he became impure. That's it. No way to correct it, except one. You gotta take him, they slaughter the red cow, they burn the flesh, the meat of the red cow, they take the ashes, they mix it with special water from a special river, and once they have the water, they splash on that Kohen a few times and he becomes pure. If they put it on a pure Kohen, he becomes impure. Nobody knows that secret. First of all, let's see how many strange things we have here. Rule number 1, purity and non-purity. What human being would think to make such a law to make everybody miserable? Everybody around has to think every second where to sit, where not to sit. Which bed I can lay on, which bed I cannot lay on. Can I go into that hospital? I'm a Kohen, I cannot walk. Maybe there's a cemetery here. Tomorrow I hear on the news that there's a cemetery under the highway, so now he cannot drive on that highway. The next thing he heard that El Al is flying in Europe above cemeteries, and the impurity goes all the way up to heaven. That means he became impure, so now he cannot go on a plane. Every time he wants to get on a plane, he has to call Eli. Do you have dead bodies in the bottom of the plane? If yes, he has to take standby to the next flight, or to different airlines. And so many things. And what did humanity gain by that? If a crook was trying to give the Torah, why would he do it to the people? The people will hate him very much for that. Nobody will accept it. We gain nothing from it, except headache. God forgive me, but I'm trying to clarify that point to you to understand that these rules, because they are so weird and strange, because they are not understandable by human logic, it leaves no choice but to admit that the superpower gave these laws. And that's why they're all divine laws. You should not kill. Yes, we understand. That's a human law. The Goyim also have you should not kill in a court. You should not steal. It's a human law. You should, you should not speak Lashon Hara, gossip about other people. It's a human law. There's so many. You should give charity. It's a human law. Help the poor. Help miserable people. Why not? If you have a lot, help them. This is all logical. But there are so many things that are not logical. Comes the Torah and says, the red cow has a secret in it. If a person sat on it, then in the neck of this red cow, there are 2 hairs that are different than the rest of the millions of hairs that this cow has. an average cow, it's very big. And average cows have maybe 10, 20, 50 million hairs, who knows? Go and count each one of them. It's an impossible mission. But two of them, somewhere in the neck, they standing always still. Once you lean on the cow, or you sit on it, or you put a bag on the cow, because the Torah say, red cow, shelo ala alea ol, that the weight was never put on top of it. That's the condition. So now, if you put a bag of flour on the back of this cow, what happened to those two hairs? They fall down. If they fell down, there is no way in the world to bring it back up. No way. You try to brush it with a brush. It's not gonna help. You're gonna push it up. It's gonna fall right down. No way to make it stand. No way. And the second sign is that before you put weight on that red cow, the eyes of the red cow were going straight. Once you sat on it for a second, or you even leaned on it for a second, the eyes of this red cow become cross-eyed. And they can never go back to be the way they were before. Why do I tell you this? Not only that it's a very strange law to take a red cow, slaughter it, burn it, mix it with water, splash on the Kohen to make him pure, to allow him to walk into the Bet HaMikdash, because before you do it, the Kohen can never enter the Holy Temple. Cannot go. The Torah told us two things that no human being in history was even able to imagine in his wildest dream. What human being will know from tens of millions of hair, two are exceptional? How does he know? Who would tell him such a thing? Would you have in mind, by looking at millions of cows around you, that there will be a red cow that will have something unique in the neck, only two hair that will never rise after you put a weight on a cow? How would you know to look for it? How would you know that it's going to affect the eyes? What's the connection sitting on a red cow once in your life and making the eyes become crossed? What's the connection? So what do you see here? That this law not only is above human, is way above our understanding. Even King Solomon, the smartest person ever lived, he wrote, I never understood the secret of this mitzvah. That this is a divine law. Because a human law, well, nobody will make such a law. There's no purpose for it. And no human being would know the secrets of those two hair and the eyes. What do you see? This is one out of 613 laws. More than 80% of the laws are more or less similar, and they are strange, and they are not understandable to the mind of a human being. Which leaves no doubt that a person will not design such a Torah. Only a superpower. When you open the book of the superpower, he begins to give you instruction. Let's hear some of his instructions. And we see if we are living by them or not. First, I'm reading you, like I told you, from Sefer Dvarim. Listen, Israel, to the laws that I'm speaking to your ears today. When is it? In Mount Sinai. You should learn them and keep them, to practice them, to do, not only to learn, to do. Today we're making a covenant in this mountain. Not with your fathers. Your God is making the covenant. With you, face to face, and you're all alive. This is the beginning. Face to face, your God is speaking to you from the mountain, from the fire. Okay? You should inform your children and your grandchildren the day that you stood in front of your God in this mountain. You should learn my words to fear me all their life that they live on this earth, and must teach their children. And your God is speaking to you from the fire. You hear voice, but you don't see a picture other than voice. Now, here you go. When I received the book, I read it. For the first time in history, I just read it. Did I hear that voice that this book is saying? If no, It's not a divine book. It has mistakes. Divine book doesn't have mistakes. It's not from God. Because I never heard it. That for sure we heard it. Because we would not accept all these laws. They're not easy. Now let's move on. Today, God is ordering you to listen to these laws, to do that with all your heart and all your soul. You made your God today to be your master, to follow His ways, to listen to His laws and mitzvot, and to hear what He said. And your God made you today to a special nation, as He promised you to keep all His laws, and to make you above all the Gentiles that He created for His glory, and to make you a holy nation as He promised. How many Jews in the world know about these words? How many people here know about it? I always say, if the Jews read the Torah once carefully, half of them would become Shomer Shabbos without lectures, without seminars. Ignorance is a very key point here. There are Jews out there, they went to Harvard, they went to so many great universities, they read so many science books. Not once in their life they read the book of the Creator of the world. And I don't have time, believe me. The purpose here today wasn't to come give you scientific proof. If you've been in my other lectures here, I gave more than 50 proofs. If you don't believe, divineinformation.com or TorahAnytime.com, you have plenty of lectures over there, close to 300 lectures. Half of them are full of proofs, one after the other. Hundreds by hundreds of hundreds. Nobody can argue with those proofs. So assuming that you already watch all these lectures and you know this is the book of God, we are going to see if we are taking advantage on the gift that the Creator gave us, or we're missing the opportunity. We're going to understand that once for all. Let's continue. Your eyes saw that God is the only one, there's no other. From heaven you heard His voice to put you in place. And He showed you His huge fire, and you heard His voice from the fire. And why did He do it? Because He loved your parents, who, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And He chose their descendants after them. And He took you out of Egypt with strong power. And He's going to enter you into the Holy Land, and you're going to win against all the empires that's sitting over there. Even though you don't have an army. You don't have an army. We're holding the babies and the donkeys. And we're coming now to the Holy Land, and we're going to win against the 7 biggest empires that's sitting in the Holy Land right now. And that's what happened. This was written before it happened. It's a huge prophecy against all logic, against any possibility. It happened. History does not lie. We went to the Holy Land and they all escaped. How? As the book promised. Let's continue. Push it into your heart that God is your master. In heaven and above, on the ground and under, there's no other. You should keep His laws as mitzvot for your own benefit. Not for Him. Pay attention. For your own benefit. Asher yetav lecha ulevanecha acharecha. For your own benefit and for your children after you. Not only you going to receive the reward, your children after you will enjoy from that reward as well. You should live long life. And now, Israel, listen to the laws and the sentences that I'm teaching you today that you should live. Comes my question right here. What do you mean you should live? The Chinese that bow down to their idols, they also live. A Christian that when they see the statues in their churches and they bow down to it or kiss it or whatever, and they have all kinds of beliefs, or other cults all over the world that believes in so many weird things, and people that are atheists, they don't live. Dogs don't live. Cows don't live. Birds do not live. But according to this book, the Creator says, if you're going to listen to me and follow my instructions, you are going to live. let's use our intelligence. What do we understand from it? No, let's use cleverly.
If we don't do, we don't live.
But you see that it's a false statement. Here, a lot of people don't do and they live pretty well. They eat good steaks every day.
Physical.
Huh?
The physical sense of live, rather than the spiritual.
Does it talk about physical life? No. Every fool knows that that's not the case. Right? If God give us a book in front of millions of witnesses and we hear this voice, and we open that book and he say, if you're going to do A, B, C, D as I instructed you, you're going to live. I'm going to, excuse me, Your Honor, this Muhammad doesn't live.
Afterlife.
Chris doesn't live. Bruce Lee didn't live until somebody killed him. They all live. My dogs live pretty well. The cat of Michael Jackson has $20 million inheritance. They live pretty good, these people. So obviously, what God calls life and what we call life, it's completely two different things. This is wisdom. You got to use your intelligence to understand. But if you don't have intelligence, I'll direct you to another place which says it clearly. What does it say? I swear on my name, says God, I'm not interested to kill the dead. Rather, he should make repentance that he should live. It's a clear sentence. Now you don't need intelligence. Just to hear the words and understand. Again, I swear on my name, that's the highest promise in the Torah. When God says Chai Hashem, meaning for the existence of God. It's like swearing. Like someone says, I swear on my life, right? That I'm not interested to kill the dead. All these punishments that I wrote in the Torah, not because I'm interested to take revenge on the wicked people. No. I want them to make repentance, that they should return from their evil way, that they should live. So what we understand? If you're going against the rules of your Creator, if you're following the media, if you're following your grandparents, if you're following your neighbor, if you're following your teacher, or if you're following your Hollywood fans, whatever, actors, whatever, yes, you have a way. But it's the opposite of your Creator. Now, are you clever or are you making a big mistake? Common sense, leave your feelings out of this conversation right now. I know feelings confuse you. Yeah, but it's hard. I may not like this life. We will deal with that later. Just common sense. It pays to go against your Creator, against His rules, or for sure, with your human logic, you understand that sooner or later you're going to see that you lost big time. What do you think? Who think that it's no big deal? Listen, not listen, no problem. Everything will be fine. Raise his hand, please. Okay, so I reached my goal. Thank you very much. It was very nice. I have another lecture in Queens, and I'm done. All right. So everybody here got the point so far. Let's move on. Let's move on. I taught you the laws today, and by keeping the laws, the nations around you will say that you are a special nation. Again, by being religious and doing all these divine laws, which a lot of them looks very weird, having a sukkah, sitting in a sukkah. He's a billionaire and he sits in a little, he made with the wood from Home Depot, he sits in a sukkah, he sleeps in a sukkah, in a sleeping bag. He has $100 million in his bank and he's holding it around like this. The guy looks at him, what would you think? The guy says he's crazy. No, the guy, his father told him that this family spoke to God face to face, the only one. And God gave them the laws. And what is it? Weird? You have complaints against God, not against Him. Understand the point here? Yes, of course. We don't understand. Yeah, we're holding a lulav, we are holding a network, we're doing all kinds of things. What's the problem? I'm proud to do anything God tell me. Anything. Why? He's faithful to pay His reward. His checks don't bounce. That's for sure. So let's move on. Because where is another nation that is close to God like you? that have such righteous Torah that I'm giving you today in front of you. Be very careful and watch your soul. Now he's talking not only to us, to the soul. And watch your souls very much, that you should never forget the things that you saw here. And they will not come out of your heart ever. And you will make sure to pass them to your children. Until 170 years ago, this warning was helping. The Jews were very careful. They stuck to the laws. They live according to it. They passed it from generation to generation until Mr. Moshe Mendelssohn. He was the one who started the revolution against God. What happened 10 years later, after he decided to go to college in Europe? All his children converted to Christianity and married Christian women. And as an Orthodox rabbi, within 10 to 20 years, his descendants was cut permanently. And he's going to be remembered for history as the first Ashkenazi Jew that brought millions of others after him to leave God and go against him. He was the one who started to convince them, go to colleges. Go, it's okay, you don't need to sit to learn Torah all day. And what happened later? We got to a point that 80% of the Jews in Europe did not know anything about God. They called themselves names of Germans. They lived like Goyim. They behaved like them. They ate everything they wanted. They opened their businesses on Shabbat. They married them. They become judges and lawyers in Germany. Until what happened? I don't have to tell you what happened. The Holocaust, when you don't know Torah, it looks like a very unbelievable thing to understand. It's impossible to understand the Holocaust. The more you learn Torah, the more you dig into the warnings of the Torah, the more you learn history of the last 2,000-3,000 years, then you see that this is not the first time that it happened. It happened in the destruction of the temple. It happened before that. It happened in the time of Egypt. It happened. There were many Holocausts. We remember it because it's recent. It's only 60 years ago. But if we learn history, we'll see that the Jews always had pogroms, non-stop. Every generation they were killing the Jews everywhere, all over the world. In the Arab countries, in the European countries, always, there was never a rest. In Morocco, in Libya, in Italy, in France, they were burning the Torah non-stop. And check the history. I have a whole list of how many Holocaust and pogroms we had. Just remember the last one, because it's recent. God forbid there will be another one. People will forget about that one. They remember the last one. That's the way people are. Let's move on. And now Israel. What is your God asking from you to do? Only to listen to the orders, to the laws. That's it. It sounds very easy. What's the big deal? What am I telling you to do? Wait, it's getting better. Don't ever forget the 40 years that I took you in the desert. I tortured you. Torture. Real torture. I torture you. Now comes the question that everybody asks. Why? Why are you torturing us so much? No nation in history suffered more than the Jews. There's no argument about that. That's a proof. If we would be like one of the other nations, sometimes good, sometimes bad, something will not be right here. Oh, everybody after us all the time? Anti-Semitism all over the world, in every generation, every week, all over the world? Something, we have to do something. It makes sense. Because according to this book, it's a part of the plan. But, why is he torturing us? Everybody asks, why righteous people suffer? Why rabbis went into the oven in Auschwitz? Why? Everybody asks this question. There's not one Jew that don't have these questions, including myself, right? You know why we ask these questions? We have memory problems. That's all. Here is the answer. You don't need rabbis to explain. No lectures, no tapes, no website, no nothing. Just open the book. The book costs $10. Buy it in the store, open it and read. I torture you. What's the purpose of this torturing? It's the main thing in our life, all these tortures. Cancer, divorce, problems, bankruptcy, fire from job, don't get the degree, the professor in college make fun of you. So many thousands of people around the clock. Around the clock. So many people suffering. Here is the answer. I torture you to test you, לנסותך, to test you, to know what's going to be in your heart. Are you gonna keep my laws or not? One sentence explains all life. One sentence. You understand what I just read to you here? It's not the newspaper. It's not New York Times. It's not the Lubavitcher Rebbe wrote it. It's not the Rambam. It's not the Gemara. It's not the Zohar. It's the Torah. The divine Torah that millions of people saw how God is giving it. Nobody ever had a doubt in it. Here is the words. I'm torturing you. Why? To test you. Are you with me when it's bad? Or only when you're making a lot of money? Or only when you have a great marriage? Or only when your children are very successful? Are you with me when the boy is sleeping in a hospital connected to 500 machines around him? Are you still with me? Wait and see the reward I'm going to give you for that. Are you with me when you saw rabbis going into the oven? You got saved, but you saw them next to you. Or you're going to kick me. When they came to the United States after the war, my rabbi told me a story. He told me that they came to in downtown Manhattan near Seaport. That's where the boats came. That's why the Jews are in Lower East Side. You know, the ways of the Jews are like this. When they come, when they immigrant to another country, they don't know the language anyway, right? So they, as soon as they land from the boat, they look around, they look signs for sale. And they begin to buy. They don't know the country. They see 5 streets, 10 streets around the port. They begin to buy. So they settle in Lower East Side, a mile away from the port. Yeah, Essex Street, Grand Street, East Broadway. It's walking distance from the port. Seaport. But some of them, when they got here, they saw their relatives here telling them in the port, I wish you would come a week earlier. We just had such a great chasuna in Plaza Hotel. We just made by a mitzvah to Moishi. We had the band and we had this. They got so angry when they came after such tortures in Auschwitz and all these places, and their cousins and uncles are celebrating here in New York, like nothing is happening over there. They took their tefillin, one guy, his tefillin out of his bag, and threw it into the water. And everybody else started to take it like crazy, and they started to throw their tefillin. They didn't do it in Auschwitz. When they got here, they saw the relatives were dancing while they are butchered over there. They couldn't take this anymore. That's what happened. It's a test, big test. Now let's move on. He tortured you. You did not have food. When you finally had food, it was the man that your parents didn't recognize. To inform you that food does not bring life to a human being. Here I'm going to read in Hebrew to make sure. למען הודיעך כי לא על הלחם לבדו יחיה האדם. You don't live only by bread, by having food. There is something way above it. Life is not just eating. The dog also eats. Give the dog bread, he'll eat when he's hungry. Give him pizza, he'll eat. Give him steak, he also eat. כי על כל מוצא פי השם יחיה האדם. You want to really live? Say the words that God told you to say. Learn Torah. Where does it say in the Torah that life, to get life of eternity, there is a key to enter that world, is learning Torah? Every letter of Torah that you say in your mouth will enter you to a better and better and better place. There's no end to it. Where does it say it in the Torah? Maybe the rabbis made it up. Maybe. Investigate. Don't be a fool. Everything people tell you, say, yeah, yes, Rabbi, yes. Go and check. I check all the time. With good results, Baruch Hashem. I check all the time, everything. I check where the source is, where. If it's a reliable source, I surrender. If it's not a reliable source, I continue to argue. I want to know the truth. Not only a part of it. The more of the truth I will know, the better it is for me. Whether I like it, whether I cannot stand it. It's not the point here right now. That's the truth. We gotta stick for the truth. We have goyim around us that are doing it all the time. These Arab Muslims that put bombs around him, somebody washed his brain in a mask that's gonna bring him to heaven if he's gonna go and kill 10 innocent Jews in a mall. And because of his stupidity that he thought that God will be happy that he's gonna explode on people, he went and sacrificed his life. Yes, he's a fool. Yes, he's going directly to hell. Yes, 72 virgins will not wait for him. Maybe Arafat will wait for him over there. Yes. But one thing we have to be impressed of. Are we willing to throw ourselves into the fire to go to heaven? To get what God promised? I'm not so sure. A few years ago, they shot a missile from a helicopter directly to the head of Sheikh Ahmed Yassin in Machshimo. You heard that or no? Right into his face. The missile chopped his head off. He was still, he's the one that was on a wheelchair, the head of the Hamas. Everybody was there, happy in Israel, clapping, happy, Baruch Hashem. But I don't think anybody paid attention to the details in the article. One time they killed him. 5 o'clock in the morning. What was he doing at 5 o'clock in the morning? Coming out of the mosque after he finished the morning prayer. At 5 o'clock in the morning, this murderer, despicable human being, finished to pray to Allah. Which accidentally is the same Allah. Same Elohim, El, comes from the Torah. They just added A to it. They modified the name a little bit. But what are we hearing here? God is showing us all these terrorists around us, the worst people on earth. Every second word coming out of their mouth is God, God is great, Allahu Akbar, God is one, God is great, God, we have faith in God, God with us, God's going to help us. That's what we hear all the time. You go to the airport, you want to pray, you go behind the scene. You look around like a thief. 5 minutes, Baruch Hashem, nobody saw me. You look at him, he comes with his Persian rug. He opened it at Kennedy Airport, sits on the rug in the middle, people walking by, nobody for him exists. He prays to his God. Why we see it? Because this is the way we should have been. But we're embarrassed. The Torah says, the Gentiles will see that you have all these righteous laws and they are going to admire you. What did we do? Instead of stick to the orders, we were hiding that fact. We wanted to show them that we're going to be like them. We changed our names. We dressed like them. Then later we started to marry them. And what was the end of it? They put us inside the ovens, as they always been. Always. Every time in history, if you know history, the closer the Jews were trying to get to the Goyim in that place, that's what destroyed them. When they kept themselves separate, they were not in front of them, they didn't care about them so much. When they started to assimilate with them in business, they became the bosses. They writing their checks, they driving their fancy cars. Every other house around it belongs to this Jew and that Jew. That started another Holocaust. Check in history and see if I'm right or wrong. You don't have to buy it. Check. When the Jews came to Egypt, what did Joseph told his father Jacob? Tell Pharaoh that you all shepherds. Why? The gods of the Egyptians were the sheep. They bow down to the sheep, to the goats. Someone who is a shepherd, that means he slaughters some of the goats or he takes care of them. It's the lowest class level. In Egypt, it's high society. It's the empire of the world. It's like United States today. That's the way Egypt was at that time. So if you have this kind of profession, they don't want you to live among them. So he told them, in order for us to get a piece of land and be separate from them, We have to say that we are shepherds. They say, shepherds? You stink, go. We'll give you a place. No, but we'll give you Goshen. Not Goshen in upstate. The real Goshen. They put the Jews in a ghetto in Egypt. That's the idea of the ghetto started right there. They put them over there. As long as the Jews were there, everything worked out perfect. Just when you read in the Torah and the Jews started to spread all over Egypt, what is the next sentence? And a new king took control, and he forgot Yosef, the leader of Egypt, and started to decide, hey, they're all over, the Jews. Look how many Jews there are out here. We must do something before it's going to be too late. Let's make a plan. How we eliminate them. How we put them down before it's going to be a war, and they will join our enemy to occupy our land. If they were still in Goshen, nobody cared. You make a wall, and now there's 2 territories, no problem. Because we went to be like them, we marry them, we become neighbor with them, God did this to us, because we didn't listen to Him. That's always the case. You don't see it because it's a very large period of time, and it's very wide. It's hard for us to see all the details. And we forget that it's a very slow process. It doesn't happen overnight. It can happen in 100 years, in 300 years, in 500 years, but it happens all the time. We never learn from our mistakes. Comes the Torah and said, you should know, the same way a father is torturing his son, this is how your God torturing you. From love, not from hate, not as a revenge. No revenge. If you love your son, right? You have a baby, 6 months old. You see your baby is holding a piece of metal and try to push it into the outlet. What's going to happen? He's risking his life, no? So you run, you scream, you take it away from his hand, you say, no, no, no. Then an hour later, the baby is a baby. He's doing the same thing. He smiles to you. Moment before he's going to get electrocuted, he's trying to push it no matter what. You take it, he's coming back. You take it, he's coming back. What happened? What comes next? You go him like this. You hold him in his hand. Did you hear him because you hate him, or you crazy about your baby? You love him, right? You only did it because you love him. This is not an indication of hate or revenge. So you hit him on the hand. What happened if this also didn't help? The next thing, you twist his ear a little bit more painful. Why? Because you want to save his life. If he doesn't understand, we got to take actions against him to save his life before it's going to be too late. No matter what, you'll do everything in your power. If there's no other way, you lock him in a room. He screams in a room. Scream, darling. Stay alive and scream. This is what God is doing to us. Scream now in this world that I should give you the world of eternity. You want to smile here, you lose there. Soon you're going to see if that's the case or not. It's everything. This lecture is designed very simple. I wish I had a screen, then I could show more things, but that's okay. It's only reading sentences from the Torah. No calculation, no rabbis, no kal vachomer, none of these things. Just simple words from the Torah that everybody can understand. And then all of a sudden people begin to understand what life is all about. Then, the same way a father is torturing his son, this is how your God torturing you. You should keep his laws and follow his way, and you should fear him. He's not your friend from high school. That's already my edition. It's not him. He's not your friend from the army. Sometimes the way people think is, I'm willing to be religious, Rabbi, in one condition. If God will show me now a miracle, tomorrow I come with you to the synagogue. What kind of miracle you order? An earthquake. Millions of people will suffer because this righteous guy, genius, wants an earthquake because he wants to see a proof. What do you need a proof? You have hundreds of proof in every page. That's not enough. I want to see a live proof. Then we continue. Everybody asks this question. Why some people work so hard to make a living? And why some people do nothing and whatever they touch become gold? He bought, one guy in Muncie, it's really weird, this story. He was learning in yeshiva. He had from his wedding $20,000. And so, in America, $20,000, well, you can buy a bathroom in Harlem. That's what he had. So what happened now? He has a little money. He's learning in Kollel, he gets a few $100, very poor, he lives in renting an apartment. One time a guy came to him to fool him. One broker, real estate broker, he told him, listen, in upstate New York, I can get you 40 acres of land for $20,000. So what are you talking about? Here, 1 acre in Muncie is $500,000. Just 1 acre, without a house. How are you going to give me 40 acres for 20? He said, trust me, it's not Muncie, it's another 2 hours north. But one day it's going to worth a lot. So that's the guy, he doesn't know anything about business. He went, he saw trees, rocks, so much land. He bought that place. He bought it. There's everybody told him, you fool. There's no sewer over there, no electric. It's going to cost you hundreds of thousands to clean all the trees and the rocks. You just threw your money to the garbage. So this guy was eating his heart. He said, you know what? Why should I eat my heart? I deserved it. God gave me this punishment. Fine, I take it with love. Torah says you have to have faith when it's good and when it's not good. That's your test, not only when you make, when you lose also. After maybe 3-4 years, period of time, he gets a phone call one day. Mr. whatever, yes. Are you the owner of the lots in over there in upstate New York? Yes. Can we come see where you are? Who are you? We are potential buyer. There's a broker, he wants to bring him a buyer. What happened? They made a camping right next to his land every year. It was expanding. They put caravans. Now they needed a larger place. They have no way to go. He sold it for millions of dollars. This time it was smart. He took somebody understand, he negotiated a very good deal for him, became a millionaire. What's the chances that a person will make money in such a way? 1 to a billion. Or sometimes people do a great deal, and then the economy turns bad, nobody comes. The deal is great, nobody comes. Or there was a rumor on the news that there is a radiation over there, I don't know what. All of a sudden, nobody comes. Here is where the Torah talk about all these things. When I brought you into the land that I swore to your father Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, I gave you cities, huge cities, and very good cities that you did not build. Highlight that part. You did not build. Okay. Houses full of good that you did not fulfill. Wells ready that you did not dig. Vineyards, olive trees that you did not plant. Eat and be full. But be careful. Be careful. Look, in half a page explains the whole secret of money and parnasa in this life. But be careful. Don't forget your God that took you out of Egypt from slavery. That's it. Fear Him. Follow Him. Don't dare to go after any fake gods around you, because your God is a strict God. If He get upset at you, He will destroy you from the face of the earth. Black on white. Simple Hebrew. Yishmitcha me'al pnei ha'adama. What's the next verse? Don't test your God. Don't make me test God. I'll make a deal with you. Send me a wife. I'm 40 years old, I never got married. Believe me, if you send me a wife this month, I donate all my money to your yeshiva. You're not going to get a wife. No. You have to pray for your wife. If God sends you, fine. If He doesn't send, fine. He knows what's better for you better than you. Even though you can swear that show me one reason why I shouldn't have a wife. Why am I different than all the millions of people around me? They're better than me? Perhaps not. Maybe you're much better than them. Do you know your previous life? Do you know your previous lives? Do you know what you did in your other life? Do you have a way to judge your situation? Are you in control of billions of transactions around you to all the people that are around you? Do you see the future? Do you have a way to judge the picture? When you get to this level, make a comment. Right now, you don't know to do two things at the same time. Two things you cannot do. What's the argument? I don't get it. The argument is stupidity. I have pain in my heart. It's true. I cry for it. It's true. I'm worried. It's normal. But that's truth. That's what needs to happen right now. What's happened tomorrow, I don't know. If it will be worse, it's for good. If it will be better, it's for good. I have no way to know. I have to stick to the laws, to what God promised. Here. Don't test your God as you tested in the past. Follow the laws as He ordered you. You should do the straight and the decent in the eyes of your God, that you should receive all the benefits. Now you may say, where is the benefits? Okay, I show you my uncle. All his life he stick to the law, he doesn't move an inch. Come see his life. 8 children in a little room, no heat, leaks from the ceiling. He hardly has a bicycle to go to learn in the yeshiva. They eat only bread and stale cheese. Vacation? Who even heard what vacation is? Look at their life. His son sick, his wife died, he's raising 7 children. Well, there's so many stories out there. It's true, cannot deny it. And look at this guy. Look at him. A designer, driving on Shabbat, stealing money, cheating people, influencing a lot of ladies to go naked on the street, which is a very big sin. And look at him. He doesn't even remember how much money is in his account. The other day they saw on the news that his accountant stole from him $30 million and he didn't realize. Look at the rabbi and look at this designer. And now tell me, where is justice? Good question or not?
Good question.
Good, right? Who never thought about this question? Who never thought about this question in the last 24 hours? Who never thought about this question in the last hour? We think about it all the time because we see cases non-stop. Everywhere you go, you see it. I tell you just a story from this week. I see miserable people all the time. What can I do? I get phone calls. I go after my lecture. People are coming to tell me about their situation. So just last Wednesday, a woman that her husband left her with children, with bills, escaped from out of the country. She doesn't even know what's going on with her. She doesn't know where to start. She's under tremendous pressure. She can die from pain in her heart. This is a situation. No money, no nothing. I live there. I'm on my way to Muncie. All of a sudden I get a phone call. I got to go now for Manhattan. I go to a place in Manhattan. I don't want to tell you the fancy place that I see, in people spending millions of dollars, spending tens of thousands of dollars on flour that the next day they go to the garbage. All kinds of things. Unbelievable. Here and here. What's going on? And this woman, Shomer Shabbos. And these people, not Shomer Shabbos. What's going on here? So, in order to answer this question, we have to listen to this. You should know. Remember, the Torah gave the answer to every difficult question. Ignorance and forgetfulness made us forget the truth. That's why we have so many difficulties that make us go out of the way. If we would repeat that constantly, those questions would leave us. Here, you should know that your God is the faithful God. sticking to his word and the covenant and the kindness to his lovers who keep his mitzvot, who keep the laws. For thousands of generations. ל-1000 דור. Should I repeat, or it was clear to everybody? It's a sentence in the divine book. What's the rest of it? And pay his haters cash to their face to destroy them. Will not delay the payment to his haters, will pay them cash to get rid of them. Should I say it in Hebrew? It's clear?
Repeat it again.
I repeat.
Yeah.
In English or in Hebrew?
In English.
In English. You should know that your God is the faithful God. Keep his word and the covenant and the kindness to his lovers who keep his mitzvot for thousands of generations, and paid his haters cash.
Pay what?
His haters. Hates. Those who hate God, those who don't listen to him. The wicked people. Pay his haters cash to their face to destroy them. Will not delay his haters their payment, will pay them cash to get rid of them. Stick to my laws and my commandments that I'm ordering you to do for your own benefits. So what do we learn? Here is the answer to these contradictions that we have in life. Every person in life has good and bad in him. Everyone. Even Saddam Hussein gave charity to some poor people. Arafat, he wrote some checks in front of the media, but he did it. So, what happened now? Does that mean because he's a murderer, or he's doing so many other sins, all his good that he did in his life is cancelled automatically? This is only by us. By human being, you can have a person, let's say your brother-in-law, he put you in business, he picked you up from the street, you had no job, no money, he bought you a house, he lent you money, he taught you a profession, he helped you for 30 years. One time he did something not nice to you. Accidentally, intentionally, maybe he spoke bad about you, and so on and so on. From this moment on, you put an X on him, you don't want to hear from him. There's a wedding, he's there, you're not going. 30 years of good, everything you eat is thanks to him. In 1 minute, one mistake, yeah, he hurt you, no doubt. If he didn't hear you, it didn't hurt you, then what do you have? He hurt you very bad. 30 years of good, erased in a minute. Somebody come the next day to your store to ask you about him. What a bad guy, stay away from me. If I can kill him, I'll kill him. Don't do business with him. 30 years. Doesn't count. Imagine if it would be like this by God. What would it be by us? So, Baruch Hashem, it's not like that. This is how it works. You get for all your bad, you get for all your good, no matter who you are. What's the right order? First you pay for the bad. After you purify your soul, you enter to a place, your soul, and get for the good. Now you may ask me, I heard in the past there's heaven and hell. I heard all kinds of punishments for the wicked people. All three religions believe in it. Of course, they copy from us everything, but that's okay. How is it possible that it's gonna be, for the soul, fire, hell? How is it possible? We saw Auschwitz, we understand it's possible for a body. We saw ashes coming out of there. This is possible. Once, for those who saw Life After Life lecture, once the soul separates from the body goes into the ground, the soul goes back into the upper world. Where exactly hell connects over there? Hell, it's material. Fire needs wood, needs something to burn. Fire cannot go by air only. So where is it? Or reward. You ask me, what's your reward? Good car, nice house, great food, good bed, vacations, great wife. That's reward. I understand. Money, jewelry, media. What people are looking for? Sports, golf. No problem. Everybody likes something else. What exactly is the reward? So how the reward and the punishment goes into place when there's no body? According to our understanding, it's all body related. The answer is completely the opposite. Body, it's all an illusion. Body, it's an illusion. Material, it's illusion. If you know a little bit how material is, what is material? If you see a fan that makes hair, the fan is turning around very fast. For someone who doesn't know if it's on or off, always it looks the same, right? It looks that there's nothing. It looks like a round thing. Like a round thing. You don't see four, because it's turning so fast, so you can almost swear that it's a whole full circle. But what, if you're going to put your finger in thinking it's a full circle, what's going to be?
No finger.
That's really every material that you have here. For those who know a little bit physics, you have the center and all the atoms are moving in such a speed, such an unbelievable speed, that every material that you see really doesn't exist. It's just the movements of the atoms, the electrons, the movement is so fast that it gives us an illusion that this whole earth really exists. But the truth is, it's all an illusion. Once the energy of God will go out of it, in 1 second it becomes nothing. The soul, however, it's an energy, it's a divine energy. It does not take place. It doesn't have a color. Doesn't catch any size. Doesn't have anything related to material. A soul can be reincarnated in a big body. It can be reincarnated in a little fly. It doesn't need any room. It's all spiritual thing. All the feelings that we have, it's all spiritual. When you say to someone, I love, I hate, I miss, I'm happy, I'm depressed, all these words connects to the soul, not to the body. Now, when a person goes to sleep, the longest dream, scientists say it's 9 seconds. I won't say it, but it's the right point to explain right now. It's the right moment. 9 seconds. Let's say a minute. A minute, okay? The longest dream, a minute. In 1 minute, a person has 1 year of suffering in 1 minute. When you woke up, you went to sleep midnight. 12:05. 12:05. You woke up screaming, crying, bring me water, I'm dying. What happened to you? You just 4 minutes you're sleeping. Why give me water, I'm dying. Takes him an hour to relax. I went to the ocean, they threw me inside, I was drowning, the sharks came, they ripped me apart, then they grabbed me from the water. He tells you a story that took months. They took me to the hospital, I was there for 6 months, they were not giving me food. How the 6 months can fit in 1 minute? With conversation, long conversation. It really happened somewhere. It happened. He saw images, he heard noise, he heard voices, he heard airplanes coming, he saw actual 6 months, he was somewhere for 6 months, for real. It's not an illusion, for real. How did it fall into this materialistic world, material world? Very simple. The soul does not connect to time. Albert Einstein already wrote, time exists only where you have material. No material, no time. The Ramban wrote it 750 years ago, but nobody heard about the Ramban in the colleges. They heard about Einstein, but it's okay, it was also a Jew. No problem. But Ramban wrote about it 750 years ago. Albert Einstein got so much credit. Wow. Torah היחסות של Einstein, Ramban wrote it, read in his book, it's clearly. That's okay. Judaism only knew about it, always knew. Material is the world, the temporary world. The soul is divine. It's endless for eternity. Now, this is the secret of this, reward and punishment. The Torah told us in few places what's the reward in the world to come? If you're listening to all the laws, you're passing all the tests, you don't rebel against your Creator, you're not becoming ungrateful more and more like most people in the world today, you appreciate everything you have, you help others, you're kind, you're nice to people, you observe the Sabbath, you dress modestly if you're a woman, you don't make other men sin, you're faithful to your husband, you're good for your wife and your children, you devote yourself, and you're not egoistic, and you work on your bad traits, your pride, ego, jealousy, anger, temptation, addiction to food, to drugs, to cigarettes, to all the problems, all the tests that God put in front of you, and you pass in a high score. For the bad that you did, God will pay you in this world. Accidents, problems, IRS, jail for 2 years, you lost your business, your partner cheated you, this to you, this, that, so many problems. But you come clean. You come clean, you go directly to eternity of pleasure, which the Torah says, the same Torah, that millions of people received that life directly from God. It says over there that if you take all the pleasure of this world, 70 years of all the people together will not be equal to the pleasure, the spiritual pleasure that God is giving the righteous Jews in the world to come. Even 1 second. 1 second in the world to come. The amount of pleasure that a righteous Jew is going to receive is so huge, you collect all the pleasure of this life for 70 years. It will not be equal to that second. That's the promise from God, not from the Knesset, the member of the Knesset, the Israeli Knesset. They cannot stop even rockets. Not from the Israeli army. Not from President Bush. Not from Barack Obama. You know the joke. Chelsea Clinton went to visit in Iraq. She's helping her mother on her campaign, so she came to a general in Iraq. She told him, tell me, you look like a tough guy. There's anything that scares you? He said, not really, except 3 things. 3 things really scares me. She said, what is it? He said, Osama. Then he said, the second thing is Obama. And the third thing is your mama. Just before we finish. So, this is the reward. So why righteous people suffer here? Because they gotta get clean for all their sins. It's better to suffer a few years here than to suffer there, which the punishments are much worse. Why wicked people celebrate here? Why they're very successful? Why they make millions on Shabbat? Why they, when they work on Yom Kippur, they make double? That's the test. If on Shabbat and on Yom Kippur businesses will be slow, everybody will keep Shabbat. Why should I bother go to the business if no customers are coming? Shabbat is the busiest day. Now we'll see you passing the test. Now it's a choice.